Hola, ¿cómo estás, babies? Guess what? July 27th is a international holiday. It is my birthday, babies. So y'all get ready because we are doing things a bit different this year, okay? We are actually gonna have a game night, all right? This is gonna be Periodico Games, the ultimate game night. It's gonna be hosted by the hilarious Big Reckless. We are gonna have music and entertainment by my main DJ Jota M from Trap House Sessions. So you know the night is gonna be great. Okay, we're gonna have the concept is basically gonna be a bunch of cocktail tables. You get your tickets and you get to watch two teams participate in a variety of different games and just watch people have fun, do ridiculous. It is gonna be a vibe. I wanna have something completely different, something that gives the island something different to do that's not just a party. So, babes, I hope I see you all. I hope you get in because tickets are limited. Y'all know I do exclusive shit all the time. So, of course, tickets will be limited and I will have some ambassadors. I have more information coming real soon to you. So, babies, y'all continue enjoying this video and I will see you all when I see you all, okay? And shout out to all of y'all. No Filter Nation. I love y'all. Happy birthday to me. Ow.
The other thing that was funny is the first time we met, you didn't expect me to be
Okay,
nice.
let me tell you. Yeah.
You didn't expect me to be nice.
So when I didn't know what to expect. Listen, I'm gonna show you her display picture. Okay.
Oh, I don't even know. Where's
You,
that?
you
where's that
expect
picture?
this bundle
yeah.
of joy when you see that picture? I'm like,
What picture is that from? Where did you find
your
it?
WhatsApp picture, your display picture?
It's definitely giving a resting
Is it
bitch
still
face.
there?
yeah.
I have to
It-
change
Is it
it.
still there?
It gives you like a don't fuck with me. Like,
Yeah, and then
let's
it's
get
in
down to
black and white.
business.
And then it's in black and white.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's giving very much
So
law and
when
order.
I saw like I'm sitting there when we had lunch at and I'm sitting there. I'm like, glass of water, please. I'm like, I don't know what to expect. And I see her walking in. Hey, go by. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is this character that I'm seeing? Like, it's completely like.
Well, but I can be serious too, right?
I know. Yes,
I can also
yes.
be the like.
No time for play.
You give that vibe though. Like that photo is just giving bitch. Like
But-
I would just be like, oh no. Like
God damn.
no, in that photo, that's what it's
No,
giving.
but-
I'm gonna change that picture right away.
Hey, yo, what's up?
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Guys, welcome back to Aruba's favorite podcast. If you don't believe it, now you do. Okay? Aruba's a show between anything. I just blanked out.
I was like, relax, like chill out.
A show about anything and everything between two friends. One is straight and the other.
Super duper black and gay, baby.
Hey, Aruba's favorite dynamic duo.
You got it right
If you don't believe it now. And that's on what?
Periodico, baby.
Hey. Guys, today we have a special guest. Before we jump into it, you know No Filter is all about entertainment, education, inspiration. I think today is going to be a little bit of education.
All. She has a personality on her, so it's not gonna be like some boring, bland Miss Karen. Nah, Do not expect that. Let me tell y'all right now. Don't expect that. So it's not gonna be no
1000%.
bland nothing.
But it's gonna be a lot of education. I would say 80% education and 20% entertainment, or 70 and 30. But
Your personality,
we got
I love it.
no other than Tisa Lasorte. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did. You're one of the few
Hey,
that says it right. Yeah.
What do people always say? Tisa Lasorte.
Exactly.
Y'all need to learn.
Yeah.
So Tisa, for those who don't know who you are, please give us short introduction.
Oh wow, short. At my age, short
Okay.
is difficult.
Give
Short
us
is
the
difficult.
introduction. We
You
got
should
time.
Just call me short. No, just so I'm actually most people that have known me my age know me as Henriquez. My last name is Henriquez.
Okay.
So I'm from Aruba, grew up here. Married an American,
Hey.
moved away, and
I got you. That's when you give me a pat. That's when you
Why?
fist bump, because you know.
why? Because of married an American?
Oh, maybe one day. Who knows?
It's,
I think we're hearing something
Hey,
today.
whoa.
I think we're hearing something today.
Oh,
You
you
know?
good? You good in the pickups?
All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll
Oh
see you
my
next week.
God. You're an OG for reeling your shit. Like,
I feel like I just shot
She
myself in
told
the
me
leg here.
something and like, oh, you good?
I'm just deviating from the top. Let me
Let's
go look
move
at my
on,
phone.
right?
Yeah,
Let's
good
move
idea.
on.
Good
Let's
idea.
move on. So I worked for about 20 years. I lived in the U.S. and I
Okay.
worked in the U.S. So again, in Aruba, I started as a TV reporter. I worked at Aruba.
Hey,
And as a TV reporter in the U.S., I worked in the news and sports radio business. I was in management there. And then about early 2010, I moved back to Aruba and went into the tourism industry since that's our industry, right?
100%.
Aruba's industry is tourism. So that's where I ended up. In the last 5 years, I am the CEO and the president of AHATA, which is the Aruba Hotel and Tourism Association.
So when you came back to Aruba, what was the first thing you started doing? Like, where did you work, or?
When I first came back I went to work for my dad's company.
Oh.
So my dad at the time, my dad asked me to come help them. So I came to manage the company that he co-owned with my former brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Aruba's complicated, as you know. So that was like a tours and water sports company, like a family-owned business.
Okay.
But I
Nice.
stayed there for only a year and moved to the hotel.
Okay, which hotel did you work at? Or?
Bukuti and Tara Beach Resort.
Nice.
Ooh.
So very successful.
Yeah,
100%
yeah.
successful.
I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Very, sustainability oriented. So I learned a lot about that.
And the language with them, like they don't play with the Italian and like
What do you mean?
their concierge. They know
Yeah.
Italian and German.
German, yeah.
Oh, really?
Because it's about serving your guests.
Ta-ta-ta.
If your guests are from those countries, you need to be able to communicate
Hey.
with them.
I did
Don't
not.
play
I
with
did not
Atta.
know that.
Yeah.
I've never been. I only seen from afar, and
It's
I've
not
known
for
them.
everybody.
No, but what I mean, not like bougie.
No, me either. I
But-
haven't been like that either.
No, what I mean is it's like a couple's hotel,
Yeah.
resort, whatever you want to
Adults
call it.
only.
That's true because it's adults only. So
Yeah.
and it's a very quiet hotel. It's not
Yeah.
like a party hotel.
Yeah.
Correct.
So you tend to get more sort of
Relaxation.
romantic kind of couple kind of
And
situation.
it's like on pretty much on Eagle Beaches, and it's not the crowded Eagle Beach. It's like the far end where they don't. When you go on their beaches,
Their
it's
beach
just
is long.
white.
It's long.
It's just white. Palapas.
So think about so it's a big beach for a hotel of only 104 rooms. So it's a nice combination.
Oh, 100%, because you have
Yeah.
all
You don't
the
even have
space.
to wake up early to like, oh, we have to go get seats.
Yeah.
No,
you stay at the Marriott.
we at the
People wake at
Bukuti,
4 in the
baby.
morning. No, my towel was there since 4, but I was in my bed sleeping.
Yeah,
like,
no,
bro,
like,
what?
get out of
No,
here. Miss me
no,
with
no.
that
But,
Yes.
but at all hotels, our guests are happy. So what the good news about Aruba is that the customers who do come, even though Aruba is becoming very expensive, they do enjoy Aruba very much.
100%. It's their home. It's like their oasis of
Yeah.
Yeah.
everything is. It's different, but it's still so much alike that
Yeah.
they feel the.
They like the people. You know the word I use for Aruba? It's not a marketing word, right? But it's the word that I use. Aruba's user friendly.
It's what?
Right? It's user friendly.
Yep.
What do you mean?
Everybody speaks English and Spanish. You can use dollars.
Yeah.
It's safe. You can walk around. It's easy to find. There's all kinds of restaurants. It's user friendly.
It's very diverse.
yeah,
It's,
yeah.
all kinds
it
of
has something for
shopping.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can never. It's like you can never go wrong. You go one
Yeah.
spot, everything is there. You don't
Yeah.
have to worry, think too
Yeah.
much, because all you want to do is come to Aruba and be relaxed. You don't want to be thinking about
Exactly.
where are we going. Okay, we have to plan
Yeah.
this. We gotta drive an hour. Like no,
Yeah.
Aruba is small. It's compact.
Yeah.
You go to Palm Beach, everything is there. Go downtown, everything is there. Go to San Nicolas, everything is there.
Yeah.
Easy. So sorry, like just but like this via un tiki. Now,
Bo derecho.
what-
That's-
no, because I mean, like, what's that? No se llega en un punto. So I want to know, like, AHATA is where you work. What does that stand for? And, like, what all, like, the betref bouwde die AHATA?
Yeah. So, Mami Purba explica. So the
So, good luck.
yeah, exactly. So AHATA is an association, and right now we have about 150 companies that are members of AHATA. So the good news about that, in a way, is that so we represent, right, the interest of the industry of tourism, and then these 150 companies have chosen to become a member, and then they pay a membership fee to the association. So that membership fee then is what gives us a budget to work
Yeah.
with, right? So because of that, we're able to have an office, which helps us a lot. So that means that I have a staff of 2 more people. So we're 3 of us, a team of AHATA. So we actually have a staff that works full-time on our efforts. So that is nice, right? So it's not a side job. It's not a hobby. We actually can focus on what we need to do. So our main focus, it's the ultimate focus is to work towards the benefit of a healthy tourism industry, a productive tourism industry that therefore feeds a healthy economy.
100%.
So in the end, we're looking to make sure that there's an economy that is robust and that is productive and therefore creates jobs, right? Creates activity. Now, the thing to remember is that AHATA, because it's a tourism association, not only a hotel association, it sort of reflects what happens in the tourism industry. So in the tourism industry also, the way they call it in the industry is that the money trickles down, right? So let's say you have a hotel, but the hotel has many companies on the island that there are vendors, right? One helps with the cleaning, one sells them meat, the other one sells them lechuga, right? Sells them vegetables. There's all these other companies that also exist because there is a tourism industry. You know, the bank gives them a loan so they can build the hotel. The lawyers help them with legal issues. So
everything is like within the same ecosystem.
Everything is a circle, right? So in that ecosystem, they all sort of depend on each other. One cannot do it without the other, and one cannot succeed without the success of the other. So we really work for the benefit of all. So it's really, but in the end, I do need to mention, in the end, what we're looking for is not to benefit a specific company, but what we're looking for is for Aruba to be the kind of business environment so that the industry can succeed positively. But also, of course, we work very closely, for example, with the Aruba Tourism Authority. We have 3 seats on the board of the Aruba Tourism Authority.
Nice.
So we also work with them on the strategies, right, in terms of how we want to attract, who we want to attract. So we work on many different arenas. So my job is quite varied, actually. Part of my job is to work on advocacy. So that's the part where you try to work with the community or with the government to see if the proper decisions can be made that we believe will benefit the island. We also do a lot of charity. We do workshops for our members to try to help with education. And currently our big goal is to work specifically with education. That's our big goal now. I work with APE, APB, Universiteit. We work with the schools to see if we can support them somehow to help them in their goals to educate as many as possible.
If you are a frequent shopper at Doing Center, just like myself, and you love discounts, just like myself and everybody else, all you gotta do right now is join the Do It Center outlet. That's all you gotta do right now if you want some massive, massive, massive discounts on everything and anything within Do It Center, guys. So join, and I'll see you there.
In what kind of way do you help the schools out? Like, what do you provide? Like, do you provide certain specific lectures? Do you provide supplies?
That's one. We sometimes lectures, and some of our members go and do the lectures, right? But also supplies, for example. We're in conversations right now, because they do have limited supply. They have limited resources, but the classes are getting bigger. And what we're noticing is that there's a labor shortage. So we want, and also we're hearing that some of these students can't even afford to finish school, right? Some of them, they start working so they can pay for school, then they end up working more and going to school less. So these are all the kinds of problems that we hope we can help with to see if we can, and in the end, of course, there is a selfish reason too. We want to benefit the young people so that they can have an education and have a better future, but we also want to make sure that there's a workforce, right? That there's a future workforce. We also participate, the government and the Landspaket, have some goals for education.
I like how you're in like
Landspaket. So which is a whole other story. So we are also in some of those committees, to see. So one of the problems you try to solve is the gap between the labor market and the education. Where's that gap? Why can't we fill all the jobs?
I'm curious to ask this question. So,
Whenever he does this, I get nervous. I don't know.
And I should be nervous, right? Yeah.
If I'm nervous, you should be too, because I don't know where he's going.
Stop. It just dawned on me based off like what you were saying. Now, I'm curious to know, when you all are like in this meeting, what is the strategy on how you sell Aruba, and what is the strategy, or how do you mention true parts of like San Nicolas in particular, because that's my background.
You're talking about marketing to tourists now, correct?
Yes, in that sense.
So that is done by the Aruba Tourism Authority. So what AHATA participates in is we help give recommendations to the Aruba Tourism Authority, and we work as partners in a way to determine strategy, sort of which markets should we go after. Should we try to attract from Germany? Should we attract from Italy? Right? Where from the US? So we work more with them in terms of strategy, not necessarily in what we call tactics. Tactics are like the specific messages that you use to try to attract in marketing. But, of course, we are familiar because we work with them closely. So in the end, what we talk about Aruba is where San Nicolas comes in is heritage and culture. Right, so you talk, and of course the murals made it easy, right? When we started doing the art festival with the murals, that became an easy one to use as an example When I speak to people, I talk a lot about San Nicolas being sort of the core where you can still recognize Aruba the way Aruba has been for decades, right? You still have that old Caribbean feeling in San Nicolas, so it's a must visit. So you can have that visit, and there's art and culture there. That's how it gets, and food. So those are sort of through, it's more through culture that I would say they mention San Nicolas as a must visit. Yeah. And
Just wanna
Baby
confirm
Beach,
that.
and you can go on. The list goes on. The list goes on. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of things on the list that like Aruba needs to improve on. You did mention
Yeah.
Yeah,
about,
like we have to do another one with ATA.
oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. We're
Like,
gonna
like,
who,
send the
who in
questions
ATA should we
directly.
reach out to? Like who would be the best person to bring on here to talk about?
I would say Sanju.
Okay,
Sanju?
good. I'm probably gonna forget right now, but I'll look back at the schedule and be like, all right.
You
who
ask
was
me
the-
later.
No, but like,
Ask me.
so you just mentioned about who should we market to, blah blah blah. Where do you see? Where do you think AHATA and ATA together? Where are you guys aiming for in the next like 5 years? Like, okay, this is what we need to achieve. I'm only asking because I'm also curious. Whoever owns a business too, if they're going that way, I can adapt my business. So
Yeah.
so to give the person
Yeah.
a little bit of a head start.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would say two things. So what happened after the pandemic is the U.S. market grew even more for us, right? The U.S.
That's
market
great.
was the easiest market for us to bring back quickly,
Yeah.
right? So we could recover quickly and well,
Yeah.
which we did.
Which we
Well,
like
did.
way ahead of time too.
Yeah,
So-
Aruba was very good. Public sector and private sector collaborated really well in terms of putting in the things that we needed to put in, the measures, whatever, to be able to get people back. But the first ones to come back were the Americans. So we've become even more dependent on the American market than we always have been anyway. So I think the next years, our goal is to diversify again. Right, to now go back to because you do want to be diversified in your market, so you're not fully dependent on one market.
Yeah.
If something happens
Happens
with
to the
that
country,
market, you're very
you're-
vulnerable.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
So I think the idea would be to try to diversify, get Latin America back. Right, that one was the one that was the slowest to come back after the pandemic. So try to get more again from the LATAM countries. Like the Colombia, Peru, Brazil, Chile, Argentina, those countries, and then Europe. To try to get to grow the number of tourists that are coming from European and the Latin American countries. Also within the U.S., you can diversify.
Yep.
So if you're only getting from New York now,
Yeah,
what
New York,
other
Boston.
cities can you go to market from?
Go more Midwest,
For example,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So
Now,
that would be it.
With even that's a really great question. With all of that, how do you incorporate with Aruba getting more expensive, especially like for like Latin countries? Life is already extremely hard there as is. So for them to finally get out and finally would be able to come to Aruba, I know at the airport they get stopped immediately on, you're supposed to have this amount of money per dag to spend, and that's how you can actually get into the island. So for them to have that, and plus money to spend on different things that around the island, where does that go if it's getting more expensive?
Yeah. So obviously you want, because you asked about the goals in the next few years. I think one of the goals also is that we do want to transform. We've been talking about it for years. So we do need to keep working on that. Instead of focusing on a large amount of people that come to the island, that you focus more on that you focus more on that the kind of tourist that comes, that for each individual tourist that comes, each spends a little bit more. Right, so it's almost like you can get the same amount of money from fewer people than you do from more people, right?
It's like the same thing you can apply in business. Like, for example, if No Filter has an insane amount of sponsors for like a small price, we can increase the price,
100%.
have less sponsors, but our income stays the same.
Yeah.
The difference,
it's
Similar
it's
concept.
the quality of the tourism.
and I get that. Again, the difference with that is the rich people are telling you how expensive the island
Yeah.
is.
That is true.
That is the problem.
So that's the next thing. So so then going back to expense, we happen to be talking. The Parliament just approved the new law of BBO at the border,
defense.
right? BBO so that is another measure again that will make Aruba more expensive. So what has happened? Remember, electricity, and everybody seems to be forgetting, electricity and water increased dramatically in cost for all of us, right? A year ago. I think people are going to notice it again when it starts getting hotter again, right? But so as our costs keep increasing, prices are going to increase
Yep.
because the way business works, you guys should know this too, right?
yeah.
The way business works is your operational cost, they increase, your price increases.
You have to go up.
So indeed, even people who have money have, they have a threshold as to how much they're willing to spend. So after the pandemic, what happens is that people were, because they had been locked in, they were spending like crazy.
Yep.
After the pandemic. So one of the things that helped us, let's be honest, when we reopened was that there were fewer people
They were
coming, but
ready.
they were spending a lot.
Yeah.
So, but that bubble will burst, and it's already bursting. We're
Yep.
seeing it already, right? The price sensitivity is coming back. So what that means is they're willing to spend less. So as that starts happening, while you're doing that, you're also making Aruba more expensive. That's a problem. So we, of course, are going to keep doing our efforts to market properly, right? AHATA does a great job in marketing, right? They're going to continue to do a great job in marketing. All the companies and all the people, it's not just companies, no? It's people. It's thousands of people that work in tourism every single day, and their job basically is to make these people happy.
Yep.
If you think about it, it's actually a great job if you think about it. Your job is to make people happy, right? So they're going to start seeing the difference too, right? So they're all going to keep making their efforts. But they cannot control the fact that the tourist may decide that, you know what, I'm going to spend less on vacation, or I'm going to go to fewer vacations.
Vacation in the U.S. or vacation in a region
A closer
to,
place.
Yeah,
So we have to...
domestic flights are way cheaper than flying
It's way
internationally.
cheaper.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
So I think it's very hard for some reason, because people see Aruba recovering quickly and they see that tourism has done so well. For some reason, it's hard for people to accept or realize that that doesn't mean it's like that forever.
thank you.
I kind of see it already in my tips sometimes. When
You know.
when we reopened, bro, my tips was like flying. I was like, whoa, what the hell is this? The last few weeks, I'm like, it's not what it was last year. Like making 200 a day, nope. 130, 120. I was like, yo, this is a mess. And sometimes you would make plans based on like
How much you're gonna make?
Because if you keep track of
Yeah.
your income, and like, okay, so last year in July
Yeah.
I made this much, so I'm projected to make around the same. Meanwhile, end of the month, you're $2,000 less than what you would thought. You're like, oh,
But they
shit.
did say we would feel inflation in 2023 after
Yeah.
the pandemic. The 2023 is when you're gonna financially feel it.
Feel.
Yeah.
2022, everybody's gonna be like, okay, we made it out of the pandemic, we good. But
Yeah.
2023 is when you're gonna feel it.
Yeah.
And July is when the borders were closed. So now we're feeling like the whole rumba of, okay,
It's been like
we're going.
I would say a year now that we're like been like super like, all right, we're done with
That
this.
is going back to normal, exactly.
Yeah.
That we're going back to normal.
But now we're feeling the prices.
And now
Like,
we're
it's
and
hitting
now
us.
again with costs going up, with the
Yeah.
with new taxes and everything else, it only
Gasoline,
gets
everything.
Can I
It
ask,
only gets worse.
Can I ask you what are your thoughts about this grants thing on the border? Like,
Yeah.
what is your thought on how this could affect Aruba, the good and the bad? If you're looking for a smooth and refreshing beer, guys, look no further. Heineken Silver is the way to go. If you haven't tried one yet, go to your nearest mini market, supermarket, whatever. Go to Cash and Carry at Romar. I don't care what you gotta do, but go right now and get your Heineken Silver today because it is extra smooth and extra refreshing. Now back to the show.
Yeah. So the issue isn't putting it at the border. Collecting at the border is not the problem, because we've always been a supporter of BTW. You may have heard about that, which is also a similar tax system,
Yeah.
right? Where you also collect at the border. So what collecting at the border, what's positive about collecting at the border is that if there are companies that are avoiding paying taxes, meaning they're importing products and then they pretend they didn't sell anything, and then they never pay BO to the government, right? Those companies, you catch them now, because by collecting at the border, they at least have to pay when they import the product. So now they're going to make sure that when they sell you something, they're going to give you a receipt, so they can go claim, because they have to then go back to DIMP and say, look, I paid already. Because part of the system is that you can deduct what you paid that month from the stuff you imported, from the BBO that you collected from your customers, basically, and then pay out to the government, right? So in concept, that is correct. However, the way they introduced this law, we disagree with, because what they did was, instead of doing it like the BTW, where everybody has that option to whatever you paid out, you can subtract from what you have to then pay out at the end of the month, let's call it that. They didn't give it to everybody or for everything. They only did it,
on certain
there's a
things.
limitation in the law for trade goods. In Dutch, we say handelsgoederen.
Okay.
So trade goods, they put a limitation in the law for that. So what that means is even a company, so forget the ones that are there's companies fully excluded from that off-track, which means my costs go up. If my costs go up, my prices go up. So you've made Aruba more expensive again for everybody, right?
Everybody.
And not only do my costs go up, every company that I work with that offers me a service, their costs go up.
Yep.
So everything has
So
become
your
more
expenses
expensive.
have also going up.
They're
Right.
gonna charge me all of what they need to charge for their business, and now
Exactly.
I have to make sure I have enough to fund all of what they're charging me, plus still sell my product. And if you have employees, you gotta still pay all of these.
Yeah, and in the meantime, corriente went up. Water is more expensive. Everything is more expensive.
Getting
So,
more
so
and more
the
nervous to build a
issue
house.
It's
isn't
crazy.
the issue isn't the part of the collecting at the border. The issue is that they limited what you can get, what we call an offset for, what you can get the subtraction for. Because if I can subtract it, my cost didn't go up. But because they're stopping many companies from having that subtraction, and I'm going to give you an example in a second,
gonna ask
that's what
again.
makes my cost go up. So I'll give you an example that is simple. Even a company that's just a store, all I do is sell books, right? So
What do you sell? What do you
handelsgoederen.
sell? Okay.
I sell books.
Okay, books.
That's handelsgoederen, that's trade goods, right? So I'm basically importing books and I'm selling you books.
Okay.
So that they would say to you, okay, so their cost don't increase. But wait a minute, they do, because that same store also imports, for example, a forklift for the warehouse. That is not a trade good. I'm not selling that forklift. That's an operational
That's a
expense.
personal, yeah.
But
so
you
that
have to.
forklift now became 7% more expensive.
So
And-
you can't claim
if you can't- if you
back from
can't
that
sell-
forklift because you can't
Correct.
sell it. So you're
Okay.
not.
Correct.
It's a kind of a loss for you.
It's only for things you can resell from your business, and you're able
No,
to
you can only claim back from the
Yeah.
things that you resell.
But what I mean is,
Exactly.
like she said, like if I bought like a forklift, I cannot claim it back. Like
Nope.
damn, like,
Exactly. Or like the shelves that I put in my store to put the books on.
That you need.
I may import.
So if I import T-shirts, I can still sell it and claim back. But if
Yes,
yes.
if I buy a steamer to steam the T-shirts, I'm not able to claim
No.
that.
Exactly.
That makes.
So you're fucked.
I kind of feel like I want to sit down. Like, who came up with this idea? Okay, let's have a seat. How many of you have ever started a business? One, good. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
And not only start a business, run it
Run
successfully.
one successfully,
Because starting is not
exactly.
that hard, right? You need
Yeah,
capital, you need
100%.
an idea. But it's running it successfully for many years, that's the hard part. And that there's a lack of understanding sometimes for
100%.
what that takes. And the sweat that goes into it.
And the amount
risk.
of entrepreneurs that you demotivate with that is the sense of that. So
Yeah.
okay, so if I want to start a company now, I have to now go to the bank so the bank can fund me. So Yakaba, my company is in a minus.
Yeah.
I have to go to the bank so the bank can fund me this money that I can now pay everything I have to pay up the grens, so I can pay for it in advance, and then finally now hopefully sell my product to an island that's already
and
inflated now.
If you could sell it.
If you could sell
Let's
it.
give an even worse example. I order a palette de banana. Half of the palette comes rotten. I already paid for it. Like, I can't sell it. Now I'm gonna have to sell my other good half for double the price so I can make up the one that went bad.
And,
There's a lot
and
of.
that's a question we add, because I said something like, because this is totally not a cost issue, but I also feel like my fear is, because Aruba's small, right? We're
Yeah.
already small. And now I feel like companies are going to import less because they want to take this risk, which you're talking about, right? So we may even have fewer choices,
Yeah.
right? Because why put it, and then, the answer we get in a meeting is no, but then a company has to do its research and know what,
No.
life doesn't work like that.
Not for
It
everybody.
says so in the books, right? The books say
Yeah.
that. But life doesn't work like that. You don't know for sure when you're buying this table, when you're importing, if somebody's going to like it. You just don't know.
Yeah.
The harsh reality of all of this, as you're talking about it, is that we can actually go into becoming like a third world country. It's very simple in the sense of if you don't have enough to eat eventually, that everybody can buy because I know you have to make sure babae supermercado aki por may sa ere, we're gonna run out. Eventually, if something like this continues going on, that the companies are not importing less.
Yeah, but I don't want to sound like I'm being too dramatic
I'm
either,
not.
right? I don't want to sound like I'm saying we're all going to starve. That's not what I'm
No,
saying.
no, no.
But I
Yeah,
am
you have
saying we're all
limited
going to have
resources.
less. We're going to
Yeah.
have less. They're taking money from all of us who are working hard, are already paying taxes. And what we're saying is you could have introduced the law in a way where you were only collecting from the ones that were avoiding taxes. right?
Yeah.
You could have introduced the law in a certain way where you're making those who are not paying the proper taxes pay, but not increase the expense of those that are already paying.
But I do want to add in the sense, I'm not saying that you're trying to make something extremely dramatic or anything like that, because that's not the case. But the case is, there are a lot of people that are from the community that still live for the community that take part of our salaries to buy these goods for people that don't have it or can't afford it.
Agree.
So it may sound a bit dramatic, but it is true that
Yeah.
because I can't afford to buy extra bread to give to this kid so they can have for school tomorrow, they're going to starve tomorrow. Like, I can't afford it.
But you make a valid point.
It is,
because
it's
if
true.
you have extra income, you can help
You
others.
can help, but you
Yes.
can't if not, and they're now ordering less
Yeah.
of this product.
Yeah.
Oh no, I have to make sure my family is good. You have to take care of what's mine first
Yep.
Yeah.
before I can take care of anything else outside. And pets, all of these things, you need food for your dogs and all these good stuff. And all of that is what you have to pay extra for. Now it's like,
Yeah, the hardest part is that they in all the meetings and even in the public meetings and interviews, they talk about how prices don't have to increase because it's Honda's
I was
scooter.
about to say that. They
And-
have they have the audacity to say, not to be African Aruba. Like,
That's
what world are you
crazy.
living
That's
in?
what disappoints me more than anything because
Crazy.
and I don't know. I believe I know why they do it because then later they want to say that when the prices increase, they say no, comercio ta abusa. That's what they're trying to say, right? But it's not. If you pay attention to the way the law is written, you know that it's not, if operational expenses increase, which they do with this law, prices go up. It's just reality.
Yeah. Yeah,
And it is
yeah.
because of the law. It is
In
because
Shark's
of the
words, I guess the government is playing chess, not checkers. Like, all right, your move.
Yeah,
okay, your
no.
move. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, bro, instead of all of us sitting on a table, sofa, whatever, and that's just sitting on a table, sitting around a table and just talk. Okay, how can we help? Instead of like, no, me te he's a price for whatever reason, pero sin piensa que te afecta abo of abo.
And this is what we always say, why don't you just let us participate in the process? Let us
They don't let you?
participate in
involve the
process.
community. The community knows what they are living in.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
can't tell me how to run my household if you don't know what's going on in my household. Like,
Not
how
even
do you
your
make those
household,
rules?
Just business in general.
But it
with
affects
you guys,
everybody's household.
Atia Haddock, like just sit with these people. Sit with people who are running business, who's keeping jobs available. Like the government, yeah, they have fucking people that work for the government, but the real people who are keeping the jobs are the entrepreneurs and the private sector. They're the ones giving jobs to the regular people on Aruba.
And creating the income for the government.
100%.
Again, if there's no commerce, there's no
There's no
tax,
taxes.
and there's no loan belasting because
There's
nobody has
nothing.
jobs.
Let's
right?
not forget the
So-
regular people though, because
Exactly.
they're the ones who is doing the physical job at the
Yeah.
end
Correct.
of the day. They're getting their hands dirty. They're the ones that have to take the bus to make sure they come
Correct.
for your business
Sometimes
to run
two buses.
successfully.
Yeah,
Sometimes
So
two buses.
Arriba,
they can
downtown,
tell you, hey,
downtown.
you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Adding that bridge is actually, it doesn't make sense because we're still gonna get to work late. But if you add maybe this tram that runs from this point to this point and it makes this amount of stops, that will benefit most of these
That would actually make
goers.
more
and stuff.
sense to have
That's
a
what I'm
tram
saying.
for
You're
Nicolas,
talking to
Papa
the
Bo.
wrong people.
just-
You're
Up
talking
and
to
down.
the wrong people.
should-
You're
yeah.
talking to the bosses of the companies. There's at the end of the day, they're still the bosses, and they're gonna step back. You need to have town hall meetings where you're finding out what
Yeah.
the
Just
townspeople
Mr. Nicolas
need.
on me, huh?
But-
Town hall
but e-
meetings.
But even the bosses want these solutions.
Of
the bosses
course.
also know that it's difficult for this person to take two buses to get. By the way, it's hard for them even to get to the hospital, no? So it's like they want solutions for this too.
You know what?
100%.
And at the end of the day, and sadly, at least in my opinion, I think it's all one big politics show. Like, and we've talked about this before. I mean, everybody has had this conversation. Is I'm gonna use AVP and MAP because obviously it's the most two biggest one. MAP starts a project. AVP doesn't want to continue it because it's MAP. AVP starts a project which is good for the community. MAP like, no, no estoy seguirle, pero sobre anos no bien con él. Yeah, it's like people want to. It's all about Amaha Sasaki, Amaha to say, and it's not about what can we do to make Aruba better instead of saying, hey guys, I'm just going to just give me all the credits. It's
Your
good for my
people are
ego.
hurting.
No, fuck off.
People
dude.
are hurting. And I think that I agree, but I think the other part of the problem is the lack of transparency.
Yep.
Oh, please, don't
You
even get
know,
started.
because
That's what
again,
it
it's
is.
hard to It's hard to be able to participate in the solution if they're not transparent, and then the answers keep changing. For example, this Medida, right, the BBO at the border. So it's like, at one point they tell you, no, we have this huge debt we have to pay, and they also like to remind you, look, we paid everybody a wage subsidy. You should be, now we
Yeah.
have to pay that back. It's a big debt. That is much bigger than that, by the way, right? But they've also been making more money in the first few months of 2023 from taxes.
Was it 15 million or something like that?
Yeah, and more than they had expected.
Yeah.
So why aren't they talking to us about that?
Yep.
You know, and you know, are there other ways that you can raise these funds? Also, in the meantime, they've issued bonds. I don't know if you know what bonds are, right? But
No.
they've issued bonds. Bonds are like when the government bonds are like when they give you an opportunity to give them money, like they're borrowing money from you. So they issue bonds, and then the public buys these bonds, right? And they promise you an interest rate. So you, Samil, you know, like you're saying, okay, I'm going to give you 10,000, and then I promise you that in 2 years or in a year, I'm going to give you 6% of that back.
On that.
So you become like a bank.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like using the
Where
pueblo
was
as
this
the
offer? I
bank.
didn't get it.
Right?
Only
No.
selected people, apparently.
But think
I don't
about
know if
it.
you
So
want
they've
it.
done this 3 times now, and people are buying it because 6.5% is a good percentage. You cannot get that at a bank, right? In terms of a savings account. So, but what they've done then is that they've raised money, they've borrowed money at a high cost, at 6.5% cost. So while they're telling you that they need money to pay off this debt and they're increasing our taxes, on the other hand, they are borrowing money at a very high rate, which is not a necessary thing.
Yeah.
You know, you can go to the Netherlands and they'll give you one for 2%, for example, instead of 6.5%.
Like
But
here-
then Holland may give you some conditions that you may not
But
like.
here comes my foil hat conspiracy theories.
Uh-huh.
Who are the ones that are buying these bonds, and what are their relations with the government? Because if my dad was prime minister of Aruba and it's like, yo, Samir, they've been to bonds. Basically, brother, don't compra, we'll put it at 7%. And doesn't matter who comes in government afterwards, you still have to pay that person the interest rate.
You do.
So if my dad was prime minister of Aruba, I will be like, yo, here's 1 million florins, and I know for a fact I'm gonna collect my 7% of that 1 million. So it's kind of like, is it a business now? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and wouldn't you do it even if it wasn't your father? Because it's a pretty good deal, right?
Yeah.
It is, but
Yeah.
what I mean is, I know, again, I don't want to throw corruption out there, but like, because I didn't know.
Boy, it's no filter. Say what the hell you want to
No,
say.
I'm trying to find the right fucking words, because I would say, I didn't know they were selling bonds. If I knew, I would have probably thrown some money in there too, because 6% is amazing. Just throw it, and then 2 years I'm gonna collect easy money. Well, you know, patience,
But you're also supporting, this decision
yeah.
then.
I know. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like,
Yeah, but that's why people buy it, right? That's why they're successful when they issue them.
Yeah.
Because it's a good investment.
100%.
So we understand why people buy them. What we don't understand is that you're going to raise the taxes on one, you're increasing our costs, you're taking money from us, basically. And you're making your own finances more expensive.
Yep.
So now you're
that
contradicting
That we're going to
yourself.
have to end up paying back anyway.
that 6% you made is gonna go back in the government anyways, because the taxes are so high.
You still got to pay back.
Again, it goes back to, did any of these people ever run a single business of how, you know, like, it just boggles my
Successfully.
mind. Yeah. I said, maigi hablo negosyo. Con largo, 6 luna. Oh, great. Don't run this country, please.
I
No.
think people forget how much effort it takes to run a business. I really do. And the risk, the financial risk.
Dude,
you know, when
yeah.
they talk about investors, you know, investors, I try to explain it this way. The investors are the ones who risk they risk their money, right? It's a risk. They could lose that money. So they're risking that money. So the dividends that they earn is sort of the salary. So their job is to give money to certain projects, and then their salary is the interest rate,
the
the
interest
dividends
that
that they
comes
make.
in.
That's the way the world works. And then the rest of us, like me, we're the ones who do the work, right, to try to make these
businesses successful.
successful, exactly.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Even though Filter, like, it was a risk buying. I didn't know if this was gonna work again. We took such a long break. We're like, this is supposed to be like, this was a chunk of my funding for my house. And I was like, I'm taking a risk of not putting enough money in my house. So I'm like, fuck it, let's just do it.
And not
it
knowing if
works.
tips will drop.
And
Yeah.
even that, 'cause I also projected, like, when I buy these, if I work 3 months or 4 months, I
Yeah.
have my money back.
That's what
Joke's
we
on
do.
me. No, like, double that shit up, because sorry if I'm cursing a lot. Usually
Yeah.
we do. But it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
more serious conversation.
Don't worry, we can handle it. I worked
Yeah.
in the sports world still.
Hello, she good.
I was a young island girl around these, in the U.S. around these. Yeah.
You're like, hey, who's this tan girl over there in
what
the
does
corner?
she know? What does she know?
Did
What
you
does she
see-
know?
Let me show you what I know.
It's a little off topic right now, but what was your job in the States? Like, did you struggle? Like, did you go difficulties? It's also a different era. So
It was a different era. I was
Massive sidetrack over
Yeah,
here.
yeah, that's okay. It was so the job that I had when I was managing the programming of sports radio station, for example, like I launched a sports radio station. That job that I had, only 1% were women,
Oh wow.
Oh,
right?
wow.
So yeah.
This is in America.
But yeah, and this was in the U.S. Yeah, I was in Chicago and in Phoenix. But I think that what I learned is that because in the beginning they do look at you like, who's this? And I always try to tell the story that I had a ponytail and a mini skirt, right? And I was and an accent, right, from the islands.
Yeah, a little
But
tennis player. You know?
yeah. And they're like, what does she know? And what I learned from that was that the way you earn the respect and get people to work with you is just by getting things done,
Yep.
right? If you work hard and get things done and you're sincere
Yeah.
and you work with people, people will, in the end, work with you and respect you enough that you can move forward. But that's what I learned. So that was the lesson. But yeah, were there hard moments? Yes, I have stories I could tell. Yeah.
Maybe we'll do like another episode like
Yeah.
Tisa's history.
Like
Especially in sports.
out of all your jobs, which one did you enjoy the most?
Oh, that's a tough one. Let me tell you why it's a tough one. Because my personality is that I move forward, right? So if once I've moved forward, I haven't taken inventory. But I will say that launching the sports station was probably because when you're launching something from scratch,
Yeah.
right? Like I got to hire all the talent. So some were former athletes, some were just broadcasters, and then you have to put them together and see
Create
if they have
something.
chemistry.
Correct.
Right, you know what that's like. You can't
Yeah,
just do
yeah.
something together. You have to have chemistry, you know. So and then you to help
Like my
train
second
them.
girlfriend.
Yeah, I would say that was the time where I felt like I had an incredible team and that we were very, we loved working together. We had our competitions, right? In sports world, there's competition because everybody wants to break a news story. Everybody wants to be the
Yep.
first to break
Yeah,
the
yeah.
story. So there was a lot of competition
competitive.
there. It's very competitive, but that's what made it good, right? They would come to me and say, hey, he stole my story. I'm like,
Like,
no, he
sorry.
finished it first.
Yeah, yeah.
He finished it first. Yeah.
Whoa, it was like that?
Yeah. But that one I look back on very fondly, you know. But to be honest with you, all my jobs have been interesting. I've met interesting people through my jobs.
But you always have that one that's like,
Not as fun, you mean?
that was the one, you know, and like maybe the
Yeah,
sports
I
one,
would
that
say
was
that
it.
one.
That
I
was
would
it.
say
That
that
was
one.
it.
Yeah.
That was it.
I also think that there's like a job for every phase of your life, you know?
Of course.
Like
Agreed.
even right now, I'm slowly fading out of like the nightlife because it's just, I go there now, I'm like, fuck, I don't want to be here. Like I just want to be like focusing on this, growing this, doing other things for my, personal future self.
Yeah.
Just being in there. I'm sure he's watching Peter. I'm sorry. It's the truth. Like he can't hate on me because probably I'll be in Spain, so he can't, why would you say that? Like text me. But like, it's like, I understand what you mean. Like you move forward. Okay, this is my new project. Thank you for the experience. Moving on. Bye.
Yeah,
And you just look forward.
And you're all in whatever you're doing now.
100%. Even even the Impact Award that I hosted for you.
Yeah, you did. That was new for you.
That was my first time. And I was telling Shark, I got this gig. I'm like super fucking nervous. Like I can host 20,000 people. I'll be like, let's go. Put me in a room with 80 people and like 80 people who have successful businesses. And they're all like,
It can even be 5.
dude,
Once
Yeah.
it's an intimate setting, he just like gets in like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I can do like one-on-ones like this. But like somewhere between the one-on-ones, like, 5 people to like 12,000, like that in between.
No, I know. I'm going through it myself.
Yeah.
I accepted something I'm like all nervous about.
Which
So
is?
I did. I'm going to give a commencement speech at a graduation for a
Oh,
school.
wow.
Nice.
And I'm very nervous. I don't believe I'm good at speeches. I feel pressure, right? Because you want to say something that is meaningful
Yeah.
to them.
Don't worry about
so
I feel like it just needs to be real.
That's-
like,
yeah.
That's
But it's-
that's what
Yeah,
sends.
I
I
agree.
understand it has to be real, but you also want to make sure you get a good message across. So you have to make, especially for that, you have to make
Yeah.
a script to make sure you have
No,
all
for
the
sure.
words and
Yeah,
everything.
But then you're going to
sure.
read. See,
Exact-
this is what
Trust
I
me,
don't
I
like.
know. I just went through
I
it
know.
3 weeks ago, and
we
I'm
gave him
telling
a
you.
hard time because you had a lot to read too.
Oh,
It was a very
dude.
difficult script. We
What's
gave him a lot.
what's that girl's name? The poem girl, Rosibel.
Rosabel Ilis.
She came to me as like, bro, I felt for you. Like I saw you over there. Oh my god, he's reading like paragraph after paragraph. It's like
Yeah,
I
it's
felt for
hard.
you so much.
But he did a fabulous job.
I
by
Thank
mean,
the
you.
I did not
Yeah.
expect
Thank you.
anything less.
Wow,
Right?
I didn't know what to expect myself. So
Yeah.
I'm just happy we did the rehearsal, and I mispronounced something, and he's like, no, this No, you gotta say it this way. I'm like, okay, thank you.
Oh yeah, we're a little rough that way.
Yeah.
But that was the point of rehearsal.
but it was
right?
fun.
He was like, tell me after I read it what I said wrong. We're like, no, we're gonna interrupt you.
No,
But
it was
thing-
fun.
The other thing that was funny is when the first time we met, you didn't expect me to be
Okay,
nice.
let me tell you. Yeah.
You didn't expect me to
So,
be nice.
so when I didn't know what to expect. Listen, I'm gonna show you her display picture, okay? And then you tell me.
Social media.
No, you tell me. Look at this. What?
Oh, I don't even know. Where's
Do
that?
you
where's that
expect
picture?
this bundle
yeah.
of joy when you see that picture? I'm like,
What picture is that from? Where did you find
your
it?
WhatsApp picture, your display picture?
It's definitely giving a resting
Is it
bitch
still
face.
there?
Yeah.
I have to change
Is it
it.
still there?
It gives you like a don't fuck with me. Like,
Yeah, and then
let's
it's
get
in
down to
black and white.
business.
And then it's in black and white.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's giving very much
So
law and
when I
order.
saw that, I saw like I'm sitting there when we had lunch at and I'm sitting there. I'm like, glass of water, please. I'm like, I don't know what to expect. And I see her walk in. Hey, go by. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is this character that I'm seeing? Like, it's completely like.
Well, but I can be serious too, right?
I know. Yes,
I can also
yes.
be the like.
No time for playing.
You give that vibe though. Like that photo is just giving bitch. Like
But-
I would just be like, oh no. Like
God damn.
no, in that photo, that's what it's
No,
giving.
but-
I'm gonna change that picture right away.
No, it's like very serious photo. But from the moment you walked in, it's like
Right?
vibrant. Like I could totally see you in like a skirt with like a pie, and you're like, hi, welcome.
Oh,
to
no,
like a
no,
drink,
no,
hey,
no.
drink a little calypso.
As long as I bought the pie, I didn't bake.
But the pearls, yes,
But honestly,
ma'am.
I told her I was expecting this kind of personality. I didn't know what to expect. I was scared because I didn't know what she was gonna say. Like, no, así no como se está. You were very flexible. Like, no, dude, just be yourself, do your thing, blah, blah, and I'll just correct whatever mistakes you make.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what to expect. Then we had lunch. I left like, who the fuck was this person? I had a whole person in my head, completely opposite. So
That's good.
Anybody
But
who's watching, don't judge.
Oh, that's nice. No, but it's ironically it may come a little bit from my radio background.
Maybe.
Because the whole point of people that are doing what you're doing is that you have to be a personality.
Yeah.
And the ones who succeed are the ones who are unique personalities. We used to, in my work, we used to call them onesies. You need to be a onesie.
Yep.
Meaning there's nobody else like
One
you.
of one.
One of one.
Damn.
And everybody is a onesie, but just nobody taps into it. Everybody just
Yeah.
wants to be everybody else. That's when you get fucked up.
No,
Agreed.
true. Because like some people,
That's for my commencement speech right there.
You see, baby, let's go.
and don't leave the cursing out. Put the cursing in there.
No, I'm going to have to leave that out. Sorry, guys.
But what's the age demographic for this?
Late teens?
Okay.
You know, like 16, 17, 18.
They'll
14.
appreciate the curse. I'm just saying.
Don't curse, but keep it as real as possible because whatever you're not gonna tell them, TikTok and everything else can tell them.
True.
So you have to just keep it real with them. Just tell them like what to expect with this new chapter in their life. They're going into the real world. They can't be getting sugar-coated on anything anymore. Like that shit is over. Like you
Agreed.
have to keep it all the way real with them. So
Agreed.
it needs to
Deal.
flow naturally.
Deal.
You got this.
Where is this speech gonna be? Where?
At a hotel.
No, we're gonna come watch. That's what I like.
No.
Shut up, not me.
He's going to make me more
Tisa,
nervous.
hey, you mispronounced the word. It's the this way.
Yeah. Payback. He wants payback. He
No,
wants
but I was
payback.
very nervous. I think I told both of you guys. Like I was literally holding. There was a point where I made a mistake. I was stuttering. Apparently, Rizbel, one of a girl who used to work with us, she said like, "Samir, I can't believe you said fuck." I'm like, what do you mean I said fuck? Like, yeah, you were studying and then fuck it, and then you. I'm like, I didn't. So I went around to people that I know. Hey, come by. Hey, Samir, great speech, and I'll wait for the right moment. Hey, by any chance, I'm like, did I say fuck? Like, no.
Nobody heard it.
No,
That's
nobody.
what
I never
think.
said it.
I think you said it.
No. Let's move on.
Because you know him. Because you know
And
him.
She knows. She worked with us so close for so long, doing
Yeah.
no filter. She knows his underlying comments, like a
So-
quick underlying breath, like.
So you were real.
What?
You were real.
I know, but hey,
Come through.
but it's also like it's not this. I can curse here, but that stage it's a different. And I'm
100%.
And I'm trying to get, and you know this. I'm trying to get, like I said, more out of nightlife, and I'm going more into the wedding scene, hosting weddings, holding
Corporate.
corporate events. I already do beach with Irma. She hires me a lot for Beach Olympics. Eco Destination just hired me for 2 Beach Olympics later this year.
So you have to be more, you have to learn to be respectful. In
Which,
those.
no, which I am. But when I have a nervous breakdown in front of people, I can't control what comes out of my mouth. So I was like, anyways, let's continue. And I just kept reading. But the lady, the Roosevelt said the same thing. Like, he's like, I like how you made a mistake, you owned it in the moment. You didn't let it bother you, and you
Exactly.
just continued.
But that is how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
You're supposed to just keep going. You're
Yeah.
just supposed to keep going. When you
I was
start
gonna
getting
show him the script, but-
I'm sorry?
No, I said I couldn't find the script you guys gave me because I wanted to show him, like, look at all this thing I gotta
It was
read.
a lot.
I believe you.
It
I
was a
believe
lot.
you.
We're gonna do it differently next year,
As long as you hire me again, I will.
but differently. It'll be more fun. It'll be
Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think
I'm trying to
think you
think. What
covered
what,
everything
what
that
else?
I-
What else do you
it
think?
was good though. I like the
I
conversation.
enjoyed it. Thank you.
No, and I want to know. What do you think? There are some things that people don't know about AHATA that you think you should, like, hey, you want to add to the whole conversation? Maybe we missed something that we don't know.
No, I think the biggest misconception about AHATA is that people think we only represent hotels. That's
Correct.
probably
That's what I thought.
that's probably the biggest misconception, that's not true. We represent, in the end, we represent the whole industry of tourism. But I would like to say that we try to represent the interest of the economy, and the interest of the economy is the interest of everybody.
Yep.
Because as long as you have a healthy economy, you have jobs, you have money rolling in. The government has their money, and we have our money, right? But no, I think that's the biggest thing that I would like, and that we do a lot to try to help the community, like helping the schools. We do other charity as well, and I think people don't always understand what we're about.
I never knew until I met you. Like, oh, we do more than this. Like, wait, you do what?
So you're not part of the government?
No.
That's also something I didn't know. I
Yeah.
always thought like AHATA was like part of the government.
AHATA, yes. The
AHATA.
Aruba Tourism Authority is, but it's semi-government. They're semi-private. But the AHATA is private sector. So the members are all companies. So we're funded by companies, and so we're
companies.
private. And we represent private sector. We are a voice for the private sector.
Yeah.
I have a question. Maybe it's more of an ATA question, which I will probably ask them too. Do you think when it comes to, which Ken can come out and also add to the question, when it comes to making ads for Aruba, you guys you hire agencies abroad, yada yada yada. Do you feel that sometimes these commercials are so, I don't want to use the word fake, but it's so staged to a point like it's, and you come here like, be like,
Those people are.
this is not what I thought. You know what I mean? Like, why not make,
That's the challenge.
it's like, why not, I've always said, like, why not invest in some local vloggers, or like, hey guys, my name is XYZ, I'm from Aruba, follow, and then they post every single week. Yeah, guys, today and people start following this girl or guy from Aruba, and it's more of a real, raw
They had a whole
content.
campaign about that.
Is what?
They had a whole campaign like that.
The Amita Turismo, toch? Or-
The Amita Turismo is AHATA.
Okay.
So AHATA did the Amita Turismo campaign partly to show people the different jobs that exist in the industry and the
Okay.
people who are proud to work in the industry, right? So they talked about their jobs. So that's a different campaign. That was for locals. That was in Papiamento for
Yeah,
locals.
correct.
But ATA and some of their campaigns for the U.S., they actually highlighted a bunch of local people that talked about life in Aruba, because there have been several campaigns, right? Like the campaigns sort of change over the years, but they have campaigns about come meet your friends in Aruba, and then they would show the Aruban people who like become your friends. They've had like you're right, it's a great idea, and it is always the challenge, right? It's the challenge of, because many islands have beaches,
Yeah.
right? So how do you make Aruba seem different and more attractive than all these other islands that also have beaches?
True.
And the best way to do that is connecting. If you ask the tourists why they come back to Aruba all the time, most of the time answer that what they tell you is, I love the people.
Yeah.
So you want to highlight those people. We agree.
I have friends
Yeah.
for already 12 years. They're currently, actually, they just left today. They
Yeah.
come here 3-4 times a year. Yo, where are you? Okay, come have lunch with us.
They love it.
12,
yeah.
10 years, still
Yeah.
going strong.
When I was working at the hotel, there were 4 ladies that had been at the hotel for since it opened. So it was like their 25th anniversary or 30th or something like that. And I asked them, what made you stay for so long? What made you stay? And that was their answer. They said, I've made all these friends, these guests, when they come back every year. I love seeing them come back every year. I've made friends. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
But it's kind of, but imagine that same element that, again, like if I go back to the vlogging part, you find a girl or a guy, start a YouTube vlog channel about Aruba every week, something new. Number one, extremely low cost.
Yeah.
All you do is market instead of flying in $100,000, $200,000
But they
of production.
They do that.
Oh, you do? Okay.
They do that. It's just that you still have to pay for to place the media, right? Like you
So,
still
like
you
on the
still want that
billboards
vlog to appear on websites,
Of
right?
course,
Like
yeah,
you
yeah.
need to, because you can't just put it on your own website and hope people come.
People see it. Yeah.
Right,
I-
you still
I
need to
know.
push it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just curious. I've always been curious about
Yeah.
it. Why not invest in like
Yeah,
you know.
go check on Aruba.com.
I think
I
it
was
just
on there
needs
one
to,
time.
like I think it needs to go less promo on our beaches and stuff like that, because we already know Aruba has beautiful beaches, yada yada, all this good stuff. I think it should highlight more of certain areas of the culture, and I feel like the culture, because for me, for instance, I grew up. I can't tell you nothing about Dande and none of these.
Kahi Orgel.
I can't
No.
tell you none of these because I didn't get it in school. It was not like
Yeah.
prioritized things that, hey, you learn this in school. So I grew up as a person that I don't mess with culture that hard when it
Yeah.
comes to Aruban stuff. You would not get me going to like, ay, natabay kanta na Plaza Bitico Awe, but like, I'm not going. It's not for me. I didn't grow up in that.
Yeah.
And I feel like part of that is what's missing on the island. There's no place that you can get like a Dande Constant, even though nobody's gonna listen to it. Pero why is it not available? Because you go to Curacao and you're gonna hear their music for sure. You go to St. Martin, you're gonna see a bunch of kiosks selling their local foods and Johnny Cakes and fish and all this good stuff.
Hungry.
And that's what they promote.
Yeah,
Anywhere you go to stmartin.com, you're gonna see their beaches, but you're gonna see the carnival, you're gonna see this, you're gonna see that. You're gonna see a lot of highlights of the people and what the people are actually doing instead of
I wish I would see more of it.
elements.
Yeah, I wish I would see more of it in Aruba. I believe one of the things that we don't, Aruba, we do some things very, very well, right? We market really well. There's many things we do very, very well. Obviously, our tourism has been successful. But one of the things that I believe we've lost is our ability to use our culture to create things that we are still attractive to the tourists. So what has happened is because we've been so, industry oriented, we do a lot of, if you notice, there's a lot of copy paste, right?
Yep.
So if I see you doing something,
Let me
you're selling red chairs, all the tourists are buying red chairs, I'm also going to open a store that sells red chairs. Right? Instead of saying, well, what could I do that's a chair that is a more of an Aruban kind of chair, the chair that my grandmother sat in, why am I not trying to sell those chairs, right? So I think we do a lot of copy pasting instead of being creative. So I would agree with that. I would like to see more of that. I have a lot of hope for the newer generations, right? That the newer
hope.
generations will take us back and
And
bring.
it's easier for them to promote something that's already easily promoted. Like you can pay to promote a beach and it's gonna work because the beach sells for itself already.
Those
so it's
pictures
like-
will always be attractive.
always
have
be
to
attractive,
you
like-
have to do all of it, right? You cannot stop showing the beach either.
No,
They
that's
need-
what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
It needs to stay there, but it
Yeah.
shouldn't be like the main focus of.
Yeah.
Hey, come to Aruba, just come to our beaches.
Yeah, we have to do all of it.
It's
We have to
a
do all
lot
of it.
more than that is what we
Yeah.
offer.
Yeah, agreed.
So
I have one more question. Do you have any more?
No, it's good.
One more, and like, let's try. We all have to talk, but like, we want to keep it a little bit short. Is what are your thoughts on the rise on Airbnbs in Aruba? Like,
Two things. So one is it's a valid part of tourism, right? Like they're members of ours as well. They some of the large groups, are members of ours. That's what the visitors are seeking, right? The visitors are seeking that. So I call it's part of your mix. Just like you have small hotels, you have large hotels, you have all
Boutique hotels,
inclusive, you have EP, you have vacation rental. So it's mixed. One of the negatives, however, is that it has grown without any strategy. So there's been no
It's a
rules
wild,
in
wild west,
place.
just go, go, go.
Right. People are just building all over the place. And we have a very high volume of them because the occupancy rate, we can measure it now, and the occupancy rate of the vacation rentals is about 60%,
Yep.
which means that you have a large supply, right? That means you have a lot more supply than the demand. And then there are also not all of them, but a lot of them are not paying the taxes, right? So then that's not fair either. Everybody else is paying taxes. Why aren't they paying taxes?
Yeah.
So we believe they have a right to exist, clearly. But we believe that there need to be some basic rules. They need to have a permit, just like everybody other business. They should have a permit. That permit should come with some requirements because the safety of the industry and the tourists is also important. And there needs to be enforcement so that they're paying taxes just like everybody else.
and it's like equally across the board for everybody.
Yeah, level playing field.
Yeah,
That's
you
what
can
we
have
mean
a
with
small
level
studio, you can have a mansion, but it's all the same rules
Yeah.
for everybody.
For a level playing field to us, when we talk about level playing field, what it means is that we all carry the tax burden. If we all carry the tax burden, then we're all have the same scenario, right? Because if you don't pay taxes, you can sell it cheaper than me. That's not fair.
Of course. And the ones like whoever has a website on Airbnb, do they pay taxes via Airbnb itself?
No.
Or
Airbnb takes like, I think 3% of whatever your sale is. They'll take 3% off the top, and the rest goes to you. And you got to pay taxes to the government, not you, but the government.
Yeah, the owner is responsible for paying the tax.
And how many of these owners are Aruban? Because I know
question.
some of the owners are probably from the U.S., so are they paying
Or
taxes
Canada
there,
or Venezuela.
Exactly.
Yeah, we heard the one statistic I heard, but nobody has a specific yet. I think those studies are being done. The last statistic I heard is that about, I believe about 35% I heard was foreign, something like that. But I'm not sure. To be honest, I don't think anybody has a specific number.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm-
yet.
I'm trying to find. I'm just curious to see, like, if I search right now on Airbnb, how many options do I get? Because I saw one time.
A lot.
Oh, look at this, over 1,000 places.
And that's only one.
That's Aruba.
But there's also Verbo, right? There's more
Yeah.
platforms. That's just one platform.
That's crazy.
We have about almost 5,000, I believe.
Damn.
Airbnbs?
Yeah.
Doesn't this affect the hotels? Like hotels, like
Just like one hotel affects the other hotel, right? Everything is a competition in the sense
Yeah.
that the customer gets to decide where they want to stay.
correct,
Yeah.
correct. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Winners.
Sorry, guys. Every single week, maybe I said this already at the beginning. No, every single week we give away a 6-pack of Heineken Silver right over here, and a 6-pack of Desperados. All you gotta do is subscribe to this channel, like this video, and leave a comment down below what did you learn today, or what do you want to see in a part 2 with Tisa if she ever comes back. She will, trust me. And last week's winners goes out to these people right here. Congratulations. Go on No Filter on Instagram, look us up, send us a message, and collect your prize. Tisa, thank you for your time.
Thank
Because you're
you.
a very busy woman, so thank you for coming.
Thank you. It was fun.
No, thank you.
For
We're definitely gonna, I think we're
A little
definitely gonna
scary, but fun.
No, it's not scary. It's not scary. Maybe some people are scared to come because they don't know what we're gonna ask. Because most of these, like the whole conversation, we have maybe 2 questions and then we just go from there, and everything is
Most
like,
people are scared of me.
It's like a roller coaster.
yeah. All right, Tisa, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to say to the people before we close out? Like,
Thank you for paying it. If you're still here, that means you've been paying attention. Thank you.
oh, good. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Peace. Awesome. Thank you.